Liam walked slowly along the narrow path through the forest. The air was fresh, filled with the smell of pine and damp earth. Birds chirped high in the trees, and sunlight streamed through the leaves in golden beams. The forest felt the same, yet different. He had left it years ago, a young man searching for adventure, but now he returned as someone older, someone who had seen much of the world. He paused for a moment and looked around. The trees seemed taller, their branches wider, as if the forest had grown stronger while he was away. The path he once walked with confidence now felt like a test. His heart beat faster, not with fear, but with anticipation. The cabin he had built with his own hands many years ago was ahead. He had spent countless days constructing it, shaping wood and stone into a small home in the middle of the forest. That cabin had been his sanctuary, a place where he could think, dream, and be free. As he stepped closer, Liam noticed something unusual. Smoke rose gently from the chimney, but he did not remember ever lighting a fire. The cabin had been abandoned, left to the quiet of the forest, yet now someone or something had made it live again. His curiosity grew, mixing with a hint of unease. He slowed his pace, careful not to make a sound. The cabin door was closed, but the windows were glowing with soft light. Liam's hands tightened into fists. He had always expected animals or the wind to be inside, but now he could sense a presence. Something alive, something intelligent, waited within. He took a deep breath and remembered the years he had spent away, in crowded cities and foreign lands. Here, in the forest, the world was still simple, still natural, yet strange things could happen that no city could prepare him for. Finally, he reached the cabin door. It was old wood, carved with patterns he had made himself long ago. He touched the surface, feeling the grooves and edges, remembering the care he had put into every nail and beam. Slowly, he pushed the door open. The hinges creaked, breaking the quiet of the forest. Liam's heart beat faster. Inside, the cabin looked familiar yet changed. There were no signs of decay or dust. Instead, the air shimmered slightly, as if it carried energy. Liam stepped inside and froze. Two figures stood in the middle of the room. They were women, but not like anyone he had ever seen. Their skin had a smooth, pale blue tone, and their eyes were larger than normal, with colors that shifted slightly as they moved. Their hair flowed like water in soft waves, and their movements were calm and precise. Liam swallowed hard. He had read stories about aliens and seen pictures in books, but this was real. He wanted to speak, but no words came. The women looked at him calmly. One stepped forward, her gaze steady and gentle. "You are Liam," she said. Her voice was clear, soft, and musical, yet it carried authority. "Yes," Liam said finally. His voice sounded rough even to his own ears. I live here. I mean, I used to live here." The woman nodded slowly. "We know. We have watched this place for some time. We mean no harm." The second woman remained quiet, her eyes observing Liam with curiosity. She moved slightly, tilting her head as if she were trying to understand him without words. Liam noticed her gestures were precise, careful, almost like a dance. He felt a mixture of fear and fascination. "I don't understand," Liam said. "Why are you here?" The first woman, whose name was Nira, stepped closer. "We needed a home where we could study this forest. We chose your cabin because it was empty and safe. You left many years ago, and the forest welcomed us." Liam blinked. He could not believe what he was hearing. Aliens had taken his cabin, and yet they seemed peaceful. He relaxed slightly, though his mind raced. "Study the forest?" he asked. "What do you mean?" Nira smiled faintly. "We observe life, the animals, the plants, and sometimes humans. We learn about your world and your species. We try to live without causing harm." Liam looked around the cabin. Everything was clean, organized, and somehow beautiful. Strange objects lay on the table, glowing softly. They were not machines he recognized, but they seemed functional and elegant. He felt a sense of awe. The forest had given him peace once, but now it had given him something impossible. Talia, the second woman, finally spoke. Her voice was softer, almost a whisper, yet it carried weight. We do not wish to frighten you. We want to share this place with you. Liam studied her carefully. She was silent, yet her presence was strong. He could feel her intelligence, her thoughtfulness, and her curiosity. He realized these women were not enemies, not invaders, but something entirely different. They were explorers, like him in some ways, yet from another world. He took a deep breath and tried to calm his racing heart. I have been gone for many years. I never expected anyone to live here, especially not like this. Nira stepped closer, her hand extended slightly. You are welcome here, Liam. You can stay if you wish. We do not take anything from this forest that does not belong to it. You may share your home with us. Liam's mind spun. He had dreamed of returning, of seeing his cabin again, but he had never imagined sharing it with beings from another planet. The thought was strange, but he also felt excitement. Something new, something incredible, had entered his life. He felt the old thrill of discovery, the same feeling he had chased when he left the forest years ago. Finally, he nodded slowly. I think I can do that. I can share this place with you. Nira's smile grew warmer. Talia tilted her head slightly, as if approving the decision. Liam felt a connection forming, not just with the women, but with the forest itself. The trees, the wind, and the animals seemed to welcome this new harmony. For the first time in many years, Liam felt completely alive. The forest was no longer just a place of solitude. It was a place of possibility, a place where worlds could meet, where humans and aliens could learn from each other. And in that quiet cabin, Liam understood that his life had changed forever. He looked around once more and took a deep breath. The sunlight through the windows fell on the wooden floor, casting soft patterns. The birds outside sang as if celebrating his return. He knew challenges would come, that the forest held secrets yet to be discovered. But for now, he felt hope, curiosity, and a sense of adventure stronger than ever. The morning sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the cabin, casting soft patterns on the wooden floor. Liam woke early, the forest alive with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. Yesterday had been overwhelming. He still could not believe that two alien women had taken residence in his old cabin. He had spent hours talking to them, learning small pieces about their lives, yet so much remained a mystery. He dressed quickly and stepped outside. The forest was quiet in the early hours, except for the soft crunch of leaves under his boots. He walked toward the small stream near the cabin, trying to calm his mind and think clearly. What were they doing here? Why had they chosen his cabin? He felt a mix of fear and fascination. The world he thought he knew had suddenly expanded. When he returned to the cabin, Nira and Talia were waiting. Nira had already prepared a simple breakfast, placing small fruits and water on the table. The fruit looked ordinary, but Liam noticed a subtle glow, soft and gentle, as if it contained energy he could not understand. Talia sat quietly by the window, her eyes following the movement of the forest outside. She had not spoken much since yesterday, yet Liam felt her attention on him, watching, analyzing, learning. Good morning, Liam said cautiously, trying to keep his voice steady. Nira smiled warmly. Good morning, Liam. We thought you might like some food before we begin our day. The forest is full of energy now. Liam nodded and sat at the table. As he ate, he studied them carefully. They looked almost human, but their features were too perfect, too balanced. Their skin seemed smooth like polished stone, their eyes held depth and color that shifted with every glance. Their presence was calm but powerful. It was impossible not to feel something unusual when they were near. After breakfast, Liam decided to ask more questions. "I want to understand," he said slowly. "Why here? Why this forest? And why my cabin?" Nira took a moment to answer, her voice soft yet confident. "We come from a distant world. Our planet values learning, peace, and observation. We seek places where life thrives naturally. Your forest is strong, full of life and balance. Your cabin was empty, safe, and allowed us to live without disturbing anything." Liam leaned back, trying to take it all in. "So, you are not dangerous?" Nira shook her head. "No. We do not harm those who respect life. We observe, we learn, and sometimes we assist. We are explorers, like humans in your stories, but our goals are harmony and understanding." Talia remained silent, but her gaze followed Liam's carefully. She did not speak, yet her presence was powerful. Liam felt a strange sense of connection, as if she could read his thoughts and emotions without words. He tried to meet her eyes, and for a moment, he felt a quiet understanding between them. "Do you stay here all the time?" Liam asked. "Or do you travel?" Nira smiled faintly. "We can travel. But we chose to remain here for a while. The forest is perfect for our study. It teaches us patience and balance. We learn from every living being we see." Liam felt a sense of awe. These women had traveled from another planet, yet they had found beauty in the same forest he loved. Their perspective made him think differently about his home. He had always taken it for granted, but now he saw it through their eyes, alive and vibrant. After a pause, Liam asked, "Can I help you? Can I do anything to make this easier?" Nira's eyes softened. "You are already helping by being here and accepting us. Many humans would be afraid or angry. Your understanding allows harmony." For the next few hours, Liam learned more about their technology. Small devices hovered in the air, glowing faintly, moving with purpose. They could analyze plants, predict weather patterns, and even communicate with the forest in subtle ways. Liam had never seen anything like it. He watched as Talia carefully adjusted one device, her movements precise, almost like a dance. Liam realized they had adapted to the forest not just to survive but to live in a way that respected it completely. As the day passed, Liam noticed that he was beginning to relax. Fear was replaced by curiosity, and confusion was replaced by admiration. He began to see these women not as intruders, but as teachers and companions. They were patient, calm, and intelligent, showing him a perspective he had never considered. By evening, the forest seemed even more alive. The golden light of the setting sun touched every tree and leaf. Liam and the women stepped outside together. Nira walked lightly, her feet barely touching the ground. Talia followed, observing every movement of the forest. Liam felt a connection forming, not just with them, but with the environment itself. It was as if the forest welcomed this new balance. They stopped by the stream, where the water moved quietly over stones. Nira knelt and touched the water, causing tiny ripples to shine in colors Liam had never seen. "The forest shares its energy with those who respect it," she said softly. "It responds to life, care, and harmony." Liam knelt beside her, letting his hands touch the cool water. For a moment, he felt a calm energy flow through him, as if the forest and the women were connected in a web of understanding. He realized that this cabin, this forest, and these two beings were all part of a story larger than himself. Talia finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "You are different from others. You do not fear us completely. You see possibilities, not threats." Liam nodded slowly. I I think I am beginning to understand. I thought I was alone here." I thought the forest was just a home. But it is more. It is alive, and you are part of it now. The three of them sat in silence as the sun disappeared behind the trees. Shadows grew long, and the forest seemed to breathe around them. Liam realized that the presence of Nira and Talia had changed everything. The forest was no longer just a place of solitude, it was a place of discovery, learning, and connection. As night fell, Liam returned to the cabin, feeling a mixture of wonder and anticipation. He did not know what the future would bring, but he knew one thing: life in the forest had become extraordinary. Two alien women had entered his world, and in doing so, they had opened his eyes to something beyond imagination. He sat by the fire, thinking about the day. The forest outside was quiet, but it hummed with energy. He felt ready to learn from these women, to explore the mysteries of the world and the universe with them. The cabin had always been his refuge, but now it was a place of new beginnings, a place where humans and aliens could coexist and discover the power of understanding. Liam looked at Nira and Talia as they moved through the cabin. Their grace, their intelligence, and their calm presence filled the space with life. He knew this was only the start of a journey far greater than anything he had ever imagined. The forest night settled around them, the stars shining brightly above. Liam felt a deep sense of hope. His life had changed, and for the first time in many years, he felt the thrill of true adventure, one that would challenge him, teach him, and show him the extraordinary potential of humanity and friendship across worlds. The next morning, the forest was quiet and still. Liam woke with the sound of leaves brushing against each other and the soft song of distant birds. The sun shone through the tall trees, creating long shadows on the forest floor. He dressed quickly and stepped outside, his mind buzzing with questions. Yesterday had been incredible, yet much remained unexplained. He noticed Nira near the stream, examining the water with her delicate hands. The water glimmered as if it held tiny sparks of energy. Talia stood a few steps away, watching Liam closely, her head tilted as if studying his movements. The silence between them was not uncomfortable, it was filled with curiosity, observation, and the quiet presence of beings who understood more than they revealed. Liam took a deep breath and walked toward them. "I need to understand more," he said softly. "You are here, studying the forest, but I want to know about you. Where do you come from? How did you get here?" Nero looked at him with calm eyes. "We come from a planet far from this one. Our people value learning, harmony, and life. We travel to places where life thrives naturally, where we can observe without harm. This forest called to us because it is strong, balanced, and full of life." Liam listened carefully, trying to imagine a world so different from his own. Cities were noisy, crowded, and chaotic. He had never seen life move with such quiet strength and purpose. Nira's words made him feel small but also inspired him. There was a beauty in their lives he had never known existed. "And how did you find this forest?" he asked. "And my cabin?" Nira smiled faintly. "We have ways of sensing places where life flows freely. We do not enter without reason. When we discovered this cabin, we knew it would be a safe place to study, a place where we could observe without disturbing the forest." Liam nodded slowly. He could not imagine the skill it took to travel across the stars and find a small cabin in a remote forest. The thought was overwhelming, yet he felt admiration instead of fear. Talia stepped closer, her eyes meeting Liam's. For the first time, she spoke directly. "We observe many worlds, many species. Humans are strong and curious. You have learned to survive in many ways, yet you also have the ability to understand life beyond yourself. That is why we trust you." Liam felt a mixture of pride and humility. He had never thought of himself as extraordinary. He was just a man who lived in the forest, who built a cabin, and who returned after many years. Yet these beings saw something in him he had never noticed. Nero motioned for him to follow her into the cabin. The interior was brighter in the morning light, filled with soft energy from their small devices. They were arranged neatly, each with a purpose. Liam walked carefully, afraid to disturb anything. Nira handed him a small device that glowed faintly in his hands. "This helps us understand the forest," Nira explained. "It senses patterns, energy, and movement. You can try it if you wish." Liam studied it, fascinated. When he placed it near a plant, it emitted a soft hum and lights that moved like liquid. Nira smiled. "The forest speaks if you listen carefully. It communicates through energy, through life itself." For hours, they worked together, Liam learning to understand the subtle signs of the forest and the devices Nira and Talia used. He watched Talia closely as she moved among the trees, her hands brushing leaves, her eyes focused. Liam realized she was not only observing but listening, connecting, and communicating in a way he could not yet understand. By midday, Liam felt a deeper respect for their abilities. They were patient, intelligent, and completely in harmony with the forest. Yet, despite their calm, he sensed they carried the weight of experience and knowledge far beyond his own. He wanted to ask more questions, to learn more about them, but he also understood that some things could not be rushed. As the sun climbed higher, they stopped by the stream again. Nira touched the water, creating ripples that shimmered with strange colors. "Life is connected," she said. "Every creature, every plant, every element has its place. We are part of this connection, as are you." Liam knelt beside her, letting his hands touch the water. He felt a gentle warmth, a flow of energy that seemed to reach into his thoughts. For a moment, he felt a sense of understanding, as if the forest itself was teaching him lessons he had never known. Talia watched silently, then spoke again. "Many humans fear what they do not know. You do not. You are willing to learn. That makes you different. That makes you strong." Liam looked at her, surprised. Her words carried weight. He had never considered that his curiosity and willingness to understand could be a strength. He felt a quiet pride and a new sense of purpose. The afternoon passed quickly. Liam began to see patterns in the forest, subtle movements of animals, the way plants responded to sunlight, and even the whispers of wind through the trees. Nira and Talia guided him gently, never forcing knowledge, but encouraging him to notice, think, and connect. As evening approached, the forest glowed in soft golden light. Liam felt a calm energy around him, a harmony he had never experienced. He realized that life in the forest was no longer just about survival. It was about understanding, connection, and growth. Nira and Talia were more than guests, they were teachers, companions, and guides to a world he had only just begun to understand. Sitting by the cabin fire that night, Liam reflected on the day. He had spent hours in silence, learning from beings from another world, and yet he felt more connected than ever. Their presence had changed the cabin, the forest, and himself. He felt a sense of wonder and excitement for what lay ahead. Nira spoke softly as she adjusted one of the devices on the table. "Tomorrow, we will explore more of the forest. There are places where life is older, stronger, and full of lessons. You will see and understand things you have never imagined." Liam nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and determination. "I want to learn. I want to understand. I want to help." Talia, standing quietly by the window, gave a small nod. Liam felt her approval. He realized that trust had been earned, and with trust came responsibility. He was no longer alone in the forest. He was part of something greater, something that stretched beyond the trees, beyond the cabin, and into the mysteries of life itself. That night, as the stars appeared above the forest, Liam felt hope. He knew challenges would come, and that life with Nira and Talia would not always be easy. Yet he also knew that this was a beginning, a new chapter filled with learning, adventure, and connection. The forest was alive, and he was now fully part of its story, together with two beings from another world who had brought wonder and possibility into his life. The next morning, the forest was alive with light and sound. Liam woke to the gentle chirping of birds and the soft rustle of leaves. The sun's rays filtered through the trees, making patterns on the cabin floor. He stretched, feeling the energy of the forest around him. Life felt vivid, full, and welcoming. When he stepped outside, Nira and Talia were already tending to the small clearing near the cabin. Nira knelt by a cluster of flowers, her fingers lightly touching the petals, while Talia observed a small stream, her gaze sharp and thoughtful. Their movements were calm but purposeful, as if every gesture had meaning. Liam took a deep breath and joined them, ready to learn more about these mysterious beings who had become a part of his life. Today, Nira said softly, we will show you how we see the world. We will explain who we are and why we came here. You may find it unusual, but understanding is the first step to harmony. Liam nodded eagerly. I want to understand everything. Please, teach me. Nira smiled faintly. Very well. We are not from this world. Our home is a planet far from here. There, life moves with balance and care. Our people value learning, harmony, and respect for all living things. We travel to different worlds to observe, to understand, and sometimes to assist, without causing harm. Liam listened carefully, imagining a civilization so advanced, yet peaceful. And you travel across the stars, he asked. Is it dangerous? Nira shook her head. Travel is difficult, but we are prepared. Our technology allows us to move safely, and our knowledge guides us. We seek places where life thrives naturally, and we choose to observe, not interfere. That is why we came to this forest. Talia, standing a few steps away, finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but precise. We study patterns in life. The way plants grow, the way animals behave, the balance of ecosystems. We learn about survival, adaptation, and connection. Your world has much to teach us, and we hope to share knowledge in return. Liam felt a surge of admiration. They had traveled across space to study the world he lived in, yet their approach was gentle, respectful, and wise. He realized that these women were not only intelligent but also patient teachers, and he wanted to learn as much as possible. Nira reached out and handed Liam a small device. It was sleek, smooth, and glowed faintly. This helps us observe. You can see patterns in the forest, connections between living things. It is simple, but it requires focus. Liam took it carefully, watching as small lights moved across the surface. When he pointed it at a nearby tree, the device showed intricate patterns of energy, roots, and growth. He was amazed. The forest, which he thought he knew so well, revealed secrets he had never noticed before. Talia approached and touched a fern lightly. The device responded, showing movement and energy Liam could not yet understand. Everything is connected, she said quietly. Life communicates in ways humans do not always see. When you listen carefully, the forest speaks. For hours, Liam practiced with the device. Nira guided him gently, explaining the colors, patterns, and shifts. Talia observed silently, occasionally offering insight or adjusting the device to help him understand. Slowly, he began to see what they meant. The forest was alive in a way he had never imagined, full of energy, balance, and hidden activity. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, Liam paused to catch his breath. I never knew, the forest is alive in so many ways. I thought I understood it, but this is incredible. Nira nodded. Knowledge is always greater than we imagine. Your willingness to learn opens new paths. That is why we trust you. Liam smiled, feeling proud and humbled. And what about you? What is your life like on your planet? Nira's eyes softened. Our planet is beautiful, full of life and careful harmony. We live in communities where learning and respect are most important. Each being has a purpose, and we all support each other. Life is not hurried, and all actions are considered carefully. That is why we travel to learn and to share knowledge. And sometimes, to help without being noticed. Talia added quietly, we value understanding above all. We seek to learn from every world we visit, and to leave it better than we found it. That is our purpose. Liam felt inspired. He had always thought his life in the forest was simple, yet he realized it was a privilege to connect with these beings and the living world around him. Their presence brought a new sense of meaning, a deeper understanding of life and responsibility. As the day turned toward evening, the three of them walked deeper into the forest. Nira pointed out patterns in the trees, showing how certain plants grew in harmony with others. Talia demonstrated how small creatures communicated with subtle signals, invisible to the human eye. Liam watched, learning to notice details he had never seen before. At a clearing filled with soft moss, Nira stopped and knelt. This place is old. It has been alive for hundreds of years. Life here has balanced itself carefully. Observe and learn. Liam knelt beside her, feeling the softness of the moss under his hands. He watched as tiny insects moved, plants shifted slightly toward the sunlight, and the energy of the clearing seemed to flow like water. For the first time, he understood the words Nira and Talia had spoken. The forest was not just a home, it was a living network, full of intelligence and subtle interaction. Talia spoke, her voice calm. You see, Liam, life is connected. Every choice, every action, every being matters. This forest is strong because it respects balance. You can learn from it, and we can learn together. Liam nodded, feeling a sense of awe and responsibility. He realized that sharing this forest with Nira and Talia was not just about coexistence. It was about understanding, protecting, and growing with the world around him. As night approached, the forest glowed with soft light from the setting sun. Liam, Nira, and Talia returned to the cabin, each carrying the quiet knowledge of the day. Inside, the cabin was warm, filled with soft light from their devices. They prepared a simple meal together, talking gently about the patterns they had observed and the lessons they had learned. Liam felt a deep connection forming. He understood that this was more than a homecoming, it was a meeting of worlds, a merging of knowledge, and a beginning of a life full of discovery. The presence of Nira and Talia had transformed the cabin, the forest, and even himself. Before sleeping, Liam looked out at the stars above the trees. He felt a quiet energy around him, a promise of learning, friendship, and adventure. The forest was alive, the cabin was alive, and he was alive in a way he had never known before. Nira and Talia were part of his world now, and together, they would explore, understand, and protect the beauty around them. For the first time in many years, Liam felt a deep sense of purpose. Life was not just survival or solitude anymore. It was connection, knowledge, and harmony with the forest, with the universe, and with beings from a world far beyond his own. The morning air was cool, and the forest was alive with movement. Birds sang from the trees, and small animals darted between the undergrowth. Liam stepped outside the cabin, feeling the calm energy of the forest around him. He had grown used to the presence of Nira and Talia, and their quiet guidance had taught him to see the forest in new ways. He felt stronger, more aware, and deeply connected to the life around him. Nira and Talia were already outside. Nira examined a group of plants, her fingers brushing gently over the leaves, while Talia stood nearby, her eyes scanning the forest with sharp attention. Liam noticed a subtle tension in her posture, a careful alertness he had not seen before. Something had changed, even if the forest seemed calm. Liam approached them. "Is everything all right?" he asked. Nira looked up, her calm expression unchanged, but her eyes carried a hint of concern. "Something approaches," she said softly. "Not from this world, and not all who travel across the stars are as peaceful as we are." Liam's heart quickened. He had expected challenges in life, but he had not imagined a threat from another world reaching his quiet forest. "What do we do?" he asked. Talia stepped closer. "We prepare. The forest can protect us if we respect it. But we must be ready to act carefully. This is not a fight we want, but we must defend ourselves if necessary." Nira nodded. "We have seen this kind before. They search for beings like us, for technology, or knowledge. They will not leave unless they are deterred." Liam felt a mixture of fear and determination. He had spent years alone in this forest, and now he understood that protecting it and the beings who had become his companions was his responsibility. He looked at Nira and Talia and felt a surge of courage. Together, they could face this challenge. For the next hours, they prepared the cabin and surrounding forest. Nira demonstrated small devices that emitted soft energy fields, invisible to the eye, designed to protect and alert them. Liam helped place them carefully, learning their function as he went. Talia moved among the trees, creating subtle markers and signals that could confuse intruders and guide them away. Liam realized that their teamwork was extraordinary. Human ingenuity combined with alien technology created a defense that was both clever and nonviolent. They were not setting traps to harm, but to protect, to deter, and to maintain the balance of the forest. As evening approached, a strange sound echoed through the trees. Liam froze. The noise was low, mechanical, unlike anything he had heard before. Nira gestured for him to stay calm. "They are here," she said. "Watch and learn." Liam's eyes widened as he saw a small ship hovering at the edge of the forest. Its design was sleek and unfamiliar, moving silently yet with purpose. Lights scanned the trees, searching, probing. He realized that the beings inside were not like Nira and Talia. They were curious, but also cautious, and possibly dangerous. Nira placed her hands together, activating a device that created a faint barrier around the cabin. Liam felt a soft energy field hum through his body. The forest seemed to respond, the trees subtly shifting, their leaves brushing together as if warning of danger. Talia moved silently, placing devices around the perimeter of the clearing. Liam watched and learned quickly, following her guidance. He could feel the balance between action and observation, the careful respect for life, even in the face of danger. The ship moved closer, and Liam felt the tension rise. But Nira and Talia remained calm, their presence steady and reassuring. "Remember," Nira whispered, "control your fear. Observe, act wisely, and trust the forest. We will protect ourselves without unnecessary conflict." Liam nodded, focusing on his breathing and the energy around him. He felt a connection to the forest, the cabin, and the women beside him. The threat was real, but so was their preparedness. He realized that fear could not control him, courage and knowledge must guide every step. The intruders paused at the edge of the clearing, scanning the area. Liam and the women remained hidden, their presence obscured by natural camouflage and careful devices. The ship's lights passed over the cabin, and Liam held his breath, hoping the barriers and signals would be enough. After several tense minutes, the ship slowly withdrew. Liam exhaled deeply, feeling relief wash over him. Nira and Talia remained composed, though Liam could see the faint tension in their eyes. "They will return if they do not find what they seek," Nira said softly. "But we have prepared. The forest and its protectors will not allow harm." Talia nodded. "This is a lesson. Not all beings are peaceful. Some seek power, control, or knowledge without care. We must remain vigilant, and you must learn to trust your instincts and the forest." Liam felt a deep sense of responsibility. He had spent years in solitude, but now he understood that protecting this home was more than personal, it was part of a greater balance. He felt proud to stand alongside Nira and Talia, learning to defend the forest and themselves without causing harm. The night settled over the forest, the stars shining brightly above. Liam, Nira, and Talia returned to the cabin, checking their devices and preparing for the next day. The forest outside hummed with quiet energy, responding to their careful vigilance. Sitting by the fire, Liam reflected on the day. He had faced fear, learned new skills, and discovered the strength of teamwork. The women had taught him patience, observation, and the power of harmony. He realized that courage was not just facing danger, but understanding it, respecting it, and acting wisely. Nira spoke softly, breaking the silence. You have learned quickly, Liam. Your mind is open, and your heart is willing. That is why you are part of this journey. Together, we can protect life, learn from it, and grow stronger. Talia, still quiet but observant, gave a small nod. Liam felt her approval and realized that their bond had grown deeper through the challenge. He was no longer just a visitor in this forest. He was a guardian, a learner, and a companion. As the fire crackled, Liam looked out at the dark forest, aware that the threat might return. Yet he also felt hope, knowledge, and courage. The forest, Nira, and Talia had become his world, and he was ready to face whatever challenges might come. For the first time, he understood that life was not just about survival. It was about connection, understanding, and protecting the harmony that made the world strong. With the women from another world by his side, he felt prepared for the future, confident in his abilities, and determined to protect the home he loved. The night deepened, and Liam finally allowed himself to rest. The fire burned softly, the devices hummed quietly, and the forest outside seemed alive with energy and vigilance. He knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and new opportunities to learn and grow. But for now, he was ready to face the future with courage, wisdom, and the extraordinary companions who had changed his life forever. The morning sun filtered through the tall trees, casting long, warm beams across the cabin. Liam stretched and inhaled the fresh forest air. The events of the previous day had left him alert but determined. The encounter with the intruding ship had shown him that the forest, though peaceful, was not without danger. Now, he was ready to work alongside Nira and Talia to protect it. Nira was already outside, kneeling by a group of small plants. Her fingers traced the contours of the leaves, and a soft glow seemed to follow her movements. Talia moved silently among the trees, checking the devices they had set up and listening carefully to the subtle whispers of the forest. Liam joined them, feeling the energy of the place and the calm, focused presence of the two women. Today, Nira said gently, we strengthen the forest. Not with violence, but with balance and awareness. We will enhance what is already strong, and the forest will respond to our care. Liam nodded. He could see that the devices and tools they used were not weapons, but instruments of harmony. They measured energy, reinforced patterns of life, and created subtle guidance for the movement of the forest. Liam had learned to trust their knowledge, and he was eager to help. They started by examining the perimeter of the cabin. Nira showed Liam how to place small devices that monitored movement and energy, alerting them to changes without harming the forest or its creatures. Liam followed her instructions carefully, feeling the hum of the devices as they connected with the natural energy around them. These devices are sensitive, Nira explained. They detect disturbances and patterns. If any being enters, the forest itself will alert us. It is a partnership, not control. Liam marveled at the simplicity and elegance of their technology. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, powerful, yet gentle, blending seamlessly with the environment. He placed a device near a cluster of ferns, feeling the soft energy pulse as it connected with the surrounding plants. Meanwhile, Talia moved to the stream. She knelt and touched the water lightly, her fingers tracing the flow. Liam watched as tiny ripples glimmered with colors he could not name. The water carries life, Talia explained. It speaks to the forest, and the forest listens. We must protect it as we protect ourselves. Liam joined her, letting his hands touch the cool water. He felt a subtle warmth, an understanding of the forest's rhythm. The stream's energy flowed through him, connecting him with the trees, the soil, and the air. He realized that this was more than defense, it was learning to live in harmony with everything around him. As the day progressed, they moved deeper into the forest. Neeraj showed him how to observe patterns of animal movement, how to predict changes in weather, and how to notice subtle shifts in plant growth. Talia demonstrated how to create signals and markers that could guide beings safely away from sensitive areas, keeping both the forest and its visitors unharmed. Liam felt a sense of pride and excitement. He had learned much in the last few days, but now he understood the depth of their wisdom. They were not just protecting the forest, they were teaching him how to see, listen, and act with patience and care. By afternoon, they returned to a clearing filled with soft moss. Neera knelt and touched the ground, showing Liam the subtle currents of energy that flowed beneath the surface. "Life moves in cycles," she said. "Every creature, every plant, every drop of water has its place. If we respect it, the forest will thrive and protect us in return." Talia stood beside him, her eyes scanning the trees. "The intruders may return. We must be ready, but we do not fear them. We rely on knowledge, balance, and awareness. That is stronger than force." Liam listened carefully, understanding the lesson. He realized that courage was not about fighting, but about knowing, observing, and acting wisely. The forest itself was a teacher, and Neera and Talia were guides showing him how to read its lessons. As the sun began to set, they returned to the cabin. Liam felt a sense of accomplishment. The devices were in place, the forest was monitored, and he had learned new ways to connect with the world around him. Neera and Talia moved through the cabin, checking equipment and preparing for the night. Their movements were calm, purposeful, and reassuring. Over a simple meal, they discussed what they had learned. Liam shared his observations about the forest, and Neera and Talia added insights from their perspective. Together, they created a plan for continued monitoring, ensuring that the forest would remain strong, balanced, and safe from any intruders. After the meal, they stepped outside to watch the stars appear above the trees. The forest was quiet, yet alive with energy. Liam felt a deep connection, not just to the forest, but to Neera and Talia. Their guidance had transformed his understanding of life, responsibility, and harmony. Neera spoke softly. "Tomorrow, we will continue our work. You have learned quickly, Liam. Your mind is open, and your heart is willing. That is why you are part of this journey. Together, we can protect the forest and learn from it." Talia gave a small nod, her presence steady and calm. Liam felt her approval, a silent acknowledgement of his growing understanding and commitment. As night settled, Liam looked out at the glowing forest. He knew that challenges could come, that the intruders might return, but he also felt confident. With Neera and Talia by his side, he was learning to trust the forest, to understand its patterns, and to act with care and wisdom. He realized that this was more than protection, it was a partnership. The forest, the cabin, and the two alien women were now part of his life in a profound way. Each day brought new lessons, new discoveries, and new connections. He felt alive in a way he had never known before. Before sleeping, Liam reflected on the journey so far. He had returned to his cabin expecting solitude, yet he had found friendship, guidance, and adventure. He had faced fear and uncertainty, yet he had learned courage, observation, and harmony. The forest had become a living teacher, and Neera and Talia had become his companions and mentors. Liam lay down, listening to the gentle hum of devices and the soft rustle of the trees. The forest seemed to breathe around him, alive with energy and quiet vigilance. He knew that tomorrow would bring more lessons, more discoveries, and perhaps new challenges. But for the first time, he felt fully prepared, confident in his abilities, connected to the forest, and deeply grateful for the extraordinary companions who had entered his life. As sleep came, he felt a sense of peace. The forest, the cabin, Nira, and Talia were all part of a new chapter. It was a chapter filled with learning, harmony, and the quiet excitement of a world larger and more mysterious than he had ever imagined. Liam was no longer just a man in the forest. He was a guardian, a learner, and a part of something extraordinary. The morning sun broke through the tall forest trees, painting golden light across the cabin. Liam woke with a sense of purpose. The past days had been full of learning, discovery, and preparation, and today, he felt that something important was about to happen. The forest hummed with energy, almost as if it sensed his readiness. Nira and Talia were already outside. Nira knelt by a cluster of flowering plants, gently touching each leaf. The plants seemed to respond, their colors brightening, their energy flowing visibly. Talia moved with precision among the trees, adjusting small devices and scanning the surroundings. Liam joined them, feeling the calm confidence of his companions and the quiet strength of the forest. Today, Nira said softly, we may face what comes from beyond. The intruders could return, but we are ready. The forest is strong, and we are united. Remember, knowledge and harmony are stronger than fear or force. Liam nodded. He had learned much about patience, observation, and the hidden rhythms of life. With Nira and Talia guiding him, he felt capable of facing anything. He glanced at the cabin, now surrounded by the soft hum of devices and the subtle energy of the forest. It was a sanctuary, protected by understanding and balance. As the morning passed, subtle changes rippled through the forest. Leaves shifted, small animals moved with caution, and the air carried a faint tension. Liam felt it immediately, a presence, careful and deliberate, approaching the clearing. Nira and Talia moved to the edge of the cabin's perimeter, their movements precise and calm. Liam followed, feeling the quiet strength that came from being prepared. Soon, a sleek ship appeared at the edge of the forest, hovering silently among the trees. Its design was unfamiliar, sharp, and purposeful. Liam realized that these visitors were determined and curious, but unlike Nira and Talia, they were not aligned with harmony. The ship's lights scanned the clearing, searching for signs of life or technology. Liam felt a surge of anxiety, but Nira placed a hand on his shoulder. "Stay calm," she whispered. "Observe, act wisely, and trust the forest." The intruders attempted to move closer, but the devices and subtle energy fields that Nira and Talia had prepared created soft barriers, guiding them away without harming them. Liam watched in awe as the forest itself seemed to respond, the trees subtly shifting, branches brushing together as if warning the ship to turn back. Talia's voice was calm, yet firm. "We do not wish for conflict. Leave peacefully, and we will not disturb you." For several tense minutes, the ship hovered, scanning, calculating, and then, as if deciding it was not worth the effort, slowly retreated. Liam exhaled, relief washing over him. The forest remained quiet, filled with life, as if nothing had happened. Yet he knew that their vigilance and preparation had made all the difference. Nira turned to him. "You have learned well, Liam. You have observed, acted with care, and trusted your instincts. The forest and its harmony have protected us, but your courage has strengthened our efforts." Liam smiled, feeling proud and grateful. He had faced fear and uncertainty, but he had done so with patience, knowledge, and teamwork. The bond between him, Nira, Talia, and the forest had deepened in ways he could never have imagined. As the day continued, they worked together to maintain the balance and strength of the forest. Nira showed Liam how to read the subtle energy patterns of the trees and plants, how to predict changes, and how to act without disturbing the harmony. Talia guided him in adjusting devices and signals, ensuring that the forest remained a safe and balanced environment for all life within it. By afternoon, the sun's rays filtered softly through the trees, illuminating a clearing filled with moss and wildflowers. Liam knelt beside Nira, feeling the gentle energy of the place. He could sense the flow of life, the connection between every plant, creature, and element. For the first time, he truly understood the depth of harmony and balance that Nira and Talia lived by. Talia spoke quietly. You see, Liam, strength is not measured by force. True strength is in understanding, in protecting without harming, and in connecting with life. The forest has accepted you because you respect it and learn from it. Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of peace and purpose. He realized that this journey had changed him. The forest, the cabin, and the two alien women had opened his mind to a new way of living, one filled with awareness, patience, and responsibility. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow across the forest, the three of them returned to the cabin. Liam helped Talia adjust a few devices, while Nira prepared a simple meal. They ate together quietly, sharing a sense of accomplishment and harmony. Afterward, they stepped outside to watch the stars appear above the trees. The night was calm, and the forest seemed alive with quiet energy. Liam felt a sense of wonder. He had learned to observe, to act wisely, and to protect the world around him. The intruders were gone, but he understood that life would always present challenges, and that harmony required attention, care, and understanding. Nira spoke softly, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Life is full of lessons. You have learned courage, patience, and balance. The forest has accepted you, and you have accepted it. That is the greatest achievement. Talia gave a small nod. You are part of this world now, Liam. Not as an intruder, but as a guardian, a learner, and a companion. Together, we ensure that life thrives. Liam looked at the two women, feeling a deep connection and gratitude. Their guidance had transformed his understanding of the world, and he knew that the journey was only beginning. He realized that the forest, Nira, and Talia had brought something extraordinary into his life: knowledge, harmony, and the joy of discovery. As the night deepened, Liam returned to his cabin, feeling the quiet hum of energy from the devices and the subtle vibrations of the forest. He lay down, reflecting on everything he had learned. He had faced fear, embraced knowledge, and discovered the strength of harmony. The forest was no longer just a home, it was a living teacher, and he was now an active part of its story. Nira and Talia moved through the cabin, checking the devices and ensuring everything was in balance. Liam watched them, feeling inspired by their calm confidence and wisdom. He understood that their presence was more than companionship, it was guidance, friendship, and the opportunity to live in harmony with the world around him. As sleep came, Liam felt hope and anticipation for the future. The forest, the cabin, and the women from another world had transformed his life. He was no longer alone, and he knew that whatever challenges came, they would face them together through observation, understanding, and respect for life. The night in the forest was quiet yet alive with energy. Liam closed his eyes, feeling a deep sense of peace. He knew that his life had changed forever. With Nira and Talia by his side, he would continue to learn, protect, and explore the harmony of the world around him. And in that moment, Liam understood something profound: life was not just about survival or solitude. It was about connection, learning, and protecting the balance of all things. With courage, patience, and the guidance of extraordinary companions, he felt ready for anything the universe might bring. The forest, the cabin, and the alien women had become his world, a world full of wonder, harmony, and endless possibility. And Liam knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would last a lifetime.